This chapter should be changed to consciousness sensor. Sweat, the original name doesn't really fit. Ranking. Luo Feng looked at the names on the gigantic black dragon scales and couldn't help but to ask, what's the ranking for? Yang Hui laughed as he looked at Luo Feng. Do you think you can relax after entering the elite training camp and become one of the most powerful fighters in the world? What a joke. The competition in the elite training camp is much more intense than other places. The higher your ranking is, the more benefits you'll get. If it's a unique treasure from an archaeological ruin, who gets to use it? The higher your ranking is, the more resources you'll get. As for those who are ranked in the last 3 places, as long as they accumulate 3 times in the last 3 places, they will be eliminated, Yang Hui said. Luo Feng was shocked, since he didn't know that he would be eliminated after entering the elite training camp. Don't ask anymore. Once you pass the B-grade exam, you'll know a lot of the rules. If you don't pass the B-grade exam, there's no point in asking. Yang Hui raised his head and looked at the gigantic black dragon sculpture. Haven't you guys realized what's special about this black dragon sculpture? Aura, said Yixia. Aura, said Luo Feng. Before, they were all stunned by this black dragon sculpture. Being stared at by this sculpture was like being stared at by a monster even scarier than a high-level horde leader steel-armored dragon. Their hearts couldn't help but to tremble and feel fear. Even Luo Feng wasn't this scared when he saw the steel-armored dragon. This is actually a true SS grade, Emperor level, monster, a black dragon that was born from a volcano. After it was killed by the head left the 2 eyes of the black dragon and put them into this dragon sculpture. The materials used to make this black dragon sculpture are quite valuable. The most valuable part is naturally the eyes of a real black dragon. When it was first designed, this pair of dragon eyes stared at the entrance of the door. Therefore, people who have just entered the door will be shocked if they raise their heads and look at the eyes of the black dragon sculpture. Yang Hui smiled proudly. Just this pair of dragon eyes alone is worth more than 10 billion. Luo Feng and Yixia exchanged glances. God, he used the eyes of a real black dragon as part of a gigantic sculpture. How cruel. Follow me. Remember, don't run around, Yang Hui ordered. Yes. Luo Feng and Yixia carried their bags and followed Yang Hui. The entire training camp, although it was called a training camp, was actually beautiful. It was as if one had arrived at an ancient palace complex. There were all kinds of precious flowers and trees, as well as small bridges and flowing water. Apart from a few main palaces, there were many elegant pavilions. From time to time, youths wearing loose training clothes could be seen walking out of the pavilions. There were men and women among them. There were white people, black people, and yellow people. Look, those youths in the distance are official students of the elite training camp. Yang Hui pointed at a huge 9-story pagoda in the center of the training camp. Although the pagoda only had 9 stories, it was comparable to the height of an ordinary 20-story building. These students are all heading over there. That 9-story pagoda is called the 9-story floors. Yang Hui smiled. The 9-story building is where all students learn and train. Some special training rooms are also located there. In the training camp, apart from sleeping, almost all the students are in the 9-story building. Walking in the training camp, Luo Feng and Yixia were very well behaved. After all, they weren't members of the training camp. And with Luo Feng's eyesight, he could feel that every official student's eyes and aura were clearly different from the fighters outside. This was the gathering place of the world's most monstrous geniuses. There are 182 students and every year, 30 to 40 students graduate. So every year we also recruit 30 to 40 people. Yang Hui laughed as he walked, but 2/3 of these students are recruited from our Dojo of Limits basic training camp. Only 1/3 are recruited from all over the world. Luo Feng realized. No wonder. 2/3 of the 30 or so people would be recruited from the basic training camp, so the remaining 1/3 would only be a little more than 10 people. So, Yixia, after you enter the basic training camp, you still have a chance to enter the elite training camp. However, the number of students in the basic training camp far exceeded that of the elite training camp. Therefore, the competition for the slots is very intense. You have to work hard in the future, Yang Hui said as he looked at Yixia. Understood. Yixia's eyes lit up. The basic training camp lasted 3 years, while the elite training camp lasted 5 years. Yixia, stay here for now and don't run around. I'll bring Luo Feng in to check in, said Yang Hui. It was a 2-story building, and even the furniture inside was of an ancient style. Because the headmaster is from Huaxia and is very fond of ancient Huaxia culture, the entire Hongning base city was built according to the ancient architectural style. Especially in this training camp, even the furniture is ancient, so you won't have a sofa or a TV, laughed Yang Hui. Luckily, the head is reasonable and gave everyone a laptop. Luo Feng was speechless. There wasn't even a TV, a washing machine, etc. Luckily, there were power outlets and lights. Just rest here. If you want to eat anything, just give a call and someone will bring it over, ordered Yang Hui. You better not run around today. Yang Hui instructed, it's best that you don't run around today. I'll bring you to the 9 floors at noon tomorrow to take the B rank test. Only after you pass the B grade exam will you officially become a member of the elite training camp. If you fail, you'll have to go to the basic training camp. Luo Feng nodded, understood. Soon after, Yang Hui left. Only Luo Feng was left in this quiet building. He went to the study room on the 2nd floor and put down his bag. He walked to the balcony and looked at the entire training camp. This is the world's #1 training camp? It looks very peaceful and quiet, Luo Feng held the wooden railing with both hands as he admired the scenery of the training camp. Not far from the building was a flowing stream that led to a lake in the distance. "Hey, Chinese?" Standard Chinese carried from afar. Luo Feng turned his head and looked down. He saw a yellow-skinned youth wearing a white dojo uniform. He had thick eyebrows and big eyes. He was holding a metal spear as he smiled and greeted Luo Feng. "Yep," answered Luo Feng. "My name is Tian Xiong," the yellow-skinned youth smiled as he greeted. "I'm from the northeast headquarter city." "My name is Luo Feng, I'm from Jiangnan headquarter city," laughed Luo Feng. The youth named Tian Xiong laughed. "Seeing that you live here, you should be here to take the entrance exam, right? Work hard. There are quite a few Chinese here. After you enter the training camp, let's meet up." After saying that, Tian Xiong walked towards the 9 grand floors with his metal spear in his hand. As he walked, he waved his metal spear. Biu. The sound of the spear piercing through the air was terrifying. Luo Feng, who was on the balcony, couldn't help but to change his expression. This guy's spear technique is way better than Zhang Ke's. As of now, Luo Feng's eyesight is extremely high. However, when that youth named Tian Xiong casually stabbed, it felt as if the surrounding air started to swirl and gather at the tip of his spear. Even though I named my blade technique, Thunderbolt, I've only scratched the surface. Compared to him, I'm still far from it. Luo Feng had no more arrogance. A random student who popped out of nowhere had obviously reached a higher realm in spear arts than him in saber arts. Luo Feng was startled. Those who can enter this training camp are the most monstrous geniuses in the entire world. Whether it's from the basics training camp, receiving 3 years of training, or competing against a large number of geniuses to enter the elite training camp. Or more than 10 fighters are recruited from all over the world every year. All of them are dragons and phoenixes among men. I have to stand firm in this elite training camp. Otherwise, how can I fight against the 2 advanced level Wargods, Vulture and Scorpion? Of course, I have to pass the B grade exam first. Luo Feng continued to train his genetic energy in the pagoda. After that, he had a good night's sleep. Even though he hasn't entered the elite training camp yet, the Black Dragon sculpture's ranking of 182 and Tian Xiong, casually stabbing his spear technique made Luo Feng feel. In the future, there will definitely be a fierce battle in the elite training camp. 11 p.m. Luo Feng ate a sumptuous lunch. All the way until 11:50 p.m. Wargod Yang Hui appeared. The weather today isn't too good. It's already noon and the sky is already dark. Looks like there's going to be a storm. Yang Hui walked in and smiled as he looked at the table in the living room. Not bad, such a good appetite. Get ready, come with me to the 9 grand floors. Do I need to prepare anything? Weapons? Battle uniform? Asked Luo Feng. No need, just come with me empty-handed, said Yang Hui. Together with Yang Hui they walked towards the 9 grand floors. Each floor of the 9 grand floors was around 6 meters tall, and the 9 grand floors were all over 150 meters in length and width. It was definitely a gigantic tower. The outside of the tower looked very classical, but the inside was definitely technological. The ground was made of hard alloy, and one could easily hear the sound of explosions and yelling. Go to the 9th floor. Yang Hui and Luo Feng entered the elevator. The elevator was very fast. Ding. When the elevator door opened, they arrived at the highest floor of the 9 grand floors. The 9th floor was a spacious lobby. There were some mats in the lobby, and some young men and women were casually sitting there chatting. Some were speaking in English, some were speaking in French, and some were speaking in Chinese. When Luo Feng arrived, quite a few people looked towards him. Brother, you're Chinese? Chinese. Luo Feng smiled as he nodded. Good luck. Come in, we'll have one more Chinese, laughed a bald youth as he yelled. Stop dreaming, said a black girl awkwardly. A black girl with a butterfly tattoo on her face said awkwardly in Mandarin. She glanced at Luo Feng and sneered. Luo Feng, under Yang Hui's guidance, arrived at the innermost part of the lobby. There was a tunnel here, and on both sides of the tunnel were large rooms. Soon enough, Luo Feng was brought to the innermost room. This room wasn't very big and it was even a bit dark. The lights were turned on. There were only 2 sofas in the room, and on each sofa was a dark blue helmet. These 2 helmets were created by our human scientists after spending quite a bit of effort. They're modeled after the consciousness sensors of the virtual space equipment excavated from the archaeological ruins, said Yang Hui as he pointed at the helmet. We can only make these simple consciousness sensors. Yang Hui pointed at the helmet and said, we can only imitate this simple consciousness sensor. As for the host of the virtual space, it's still that ancient machine that has been sleeping underground for who knows how many years. Luo Feng stared at the helmet. Virtual space? That's too scary. This is something that only exists in science fiction. However, according to what Yang Hui said, humans can only create the consciousness sensors. As for the virtual space equipment, they can't create it at all. And it's just an old guy excavated from the archaeological ruins. Human scientists can't understand the virtual space equipment at all, so don't even mention copying it, said Yang Hui as he shook his head. Yeah, when you put it on, your consciousness will enter a virtual space with 100% realism. It's exactly the same as the real world, said Yang Hui. After you enter the virtual space, we'll let you enter the Tower of Trials to take the B grade exam. P.S. 2 chapters completed. My monthly votes dropped to number 4. Me put it on? Luo Feng nervously picked up one of the dark blue helmets and looked towards Yang Hui with confusion. Mr. Yang, I'll just put it on like this? Learn from me. Yang Hui smiled and then sat down on the sofa. You lie on the sofa too. Luo Feng obediently laid down. The sofa was extremely comfortable, perfect for one person to lie on. Yang Hui emphasized, when you put on the helmet, your consciousness will enter the virtual space, so don't panic. Come, put on the helmet. Under Yang Hui's gaze, Luo Feng took a deep breath and put on the helmet. Virtual space? It's only been described in sci-fi novels, but this is his first time experiencing it. The moment he put on the helmet, Luo Feng felt his head buzz. Yang Hui smiled and put on the helmet after seeing Luo Feng put on the helmet. It was a vast expanse of silver land. Two silhouettes appeared on the ground one after the other. Luo Feng and Yang Hui. So mysterious, this is the virtual space? Luo Feng looked around. The sky of this virtual space was actually the universe. There were millions of stars in the boundless night sky, causing the entire silver land to emit a dreamy light. This silver land? It's as smooth as a mirror. Luo Feng squatted down in shock and tapped the ground with his finger, making a metallic clang-clang sound. Luo Feng, in this Tower of Trials virtual space, the sky is the universe. The ground is the silver land. The material of this silver land is similar to an alloy. Yang Hui smiled as he pointed into the distance. And the only building you can see in this entire virtual space is that 7-level Tower of Trials. It's also the place where you'll be tested. Indeed, look all around. There was only one building. Around 300 to 400 meters away, there was a gigantic tower that pierced through the clouds. The entire tower was covered in carvings of all sorts of monsters that surrounded the entire tower. With the naked eye, one could faintly tell that this tower had 7 levels. I'll be taking the B-grade test there? LuoFeng's heart skipped a beat as he tried to use his spiritual force. Chem? How come there's no spiritual force? He couldn't feel any spiritual force at all. Not good. LuoFeng's body slightly jumped a few times as he punched and kicked. Something seems to be wrong with my body. Mr. Yang, why do I feel like my body is different from before? Luo Feng couldn't help but ask. Yang Hui laughed and pointed at the sky and the ground. Where are we? This was a virtual space. Only our consciousness can enter. Our physical bodies, weapons and so on can't enter. Only consciousness can enter? Luo Feng was shocked, thinking to himself, which means anything other than consciousness can't enter. My telekinesis didn't enter either. This is troublesome. Without telekinesis, I'm afraid my strength is only a small part of what it used to be. Can I pass this B-rank test? Yang Hui continued, Luo Feng, no matter who it is, they can only enter the virtual space with their consciousness. And the virtual space is to equip us with a virtual body. Our current bodies, our physical attributes are the same, Yang Hui said. Same? Luo Feng was shocked. Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's a Wargod, an existence surpassing the Wargod level, a normal fighter or even a normal person. After the consciousness comes in, it will have a body with the same physical qualities, normal fist strength of 10,000 kilograms, speed of 150 meters per second, nerve reaction speed, superior beginner warlord level. Luo Feng was stunned. Everyone has the same physical qualities when they enter the virtual space? Because everyone's physical qualities are the same in the virtual space. Even the head, Hong, has a body like this when he enters the virtual space. This way it's easy to test a person's true battle strength. Yang Hui looked at Luo Feng. Follow me to the Tower of Trials. What else can he do? In the virtual space everyone is equal. No matter how strong your body is in the real world, it's the same in the virtual space. The Tower of Trials pierced through the clouds and was incomparably huge. Luo Feng and Yang Hui stood at the entrance like two ants. Look at that stone pillar. Yang Hui pointed at a black stone pillar on the left of the Tower of Trials entrance. An engraving actually appeared on the black stone pillar. Name, Luo Feng. Gender, male. Identity, elite training camp preparatory student. Tower of Trials level 1. Luo Feng turned his head and looked at the black stone pillar on the right of the Tower of Trials entrance. An engraving also appeared on the black stone pillar. Name Yang Hui. Identity Wargod. Tower of Trials level 3.2. Luo Feng was shocked. His Tower of Trials level was 1, and Wargod Yang Hui's Tower of Trials level was 3.2. What exactly is the Tower of Trials level? Luo Feng, are you curious about the Tower of Trials level? Yang Hui laughed. For example, you and I use the same body and enter the Tower of Trials step by step. After passing the first level, you directly enter the second level. At this time, your Tower of Trials level is 2.0. When you pass the third level, your Tower of Trials level is 3.0. When you pass the third level, your Tower of Trials level is 3.1, 3.2, 3.3. All of them are possible. And you haven't done it yet, so you're only at the original one, which means that you haven't accomplished anything in the first level of the Tower of Trials. Luo Feng was shocked. Wargod Yang Hui is already so old, so of course he has plenty of battle experience. Who would have thought that he would only be able to pass the third level? There are a total of 7 levels in the Tower of Trials. Not a single person has made it to the 7th level yet. Yang Hui laughed as he looked at Luo Feng. Not a single one? Luo Feng froze. What about the strongest fighter on Earth, Hong? And the second strongest fighter, Thunder God? Yeah, not a single one. The strongest fighter on Earth, Hong, has already made it to the 6th level. He's the strongest on Earth. Yang Hui shook his head and sighed. This is the difference. Even if we use the same body as the Dojo Master, we will not be able to defeat him. I can only make it to the 3rd level, but Dojo Master made it to the 6th level. Luo Feng raised his head and looked at the 7-level Tower of Trials. Who would have thought that none of the powerhouses on Earth had made it to the 7th level? Suddenly, Luo Feng, please choose your battle uniform and weapon. After choosing, you will enter the Tower of Trials within 1 minute to accept the B-grade exam. Suddenly, an electronic voice resounded throughout the entire virtual space. Battle uniforms and weapons immediately appeared in front of Luo Feng's eyes. Without caring too much, he immediately chose a battle uniform, a ghost blade, and a hexagonal shield that fit his body size. After that, the battle uniform, ghost blade, and shield immediately landed on the ground and Luo Feng quickly put them on. He could run at a speed of 150 meters per second, and he was terrifyingly fast in his combat uniform. A mirage flashed and in less than 10 seconds he was done. Luo Feng, I wish you success. Yang Hui smiled. This B-rank test is the medium difficulty test of the first floor of the Tower of Trials. Even though it's only the first floor, there are a few dozen members of the elite training camp who are still on the first floor. Okay, Luo Feng took in a deep breath and directly walked into the pitch-black entrance in front of him. Oh. As if space had changed, Luo Feng instantly entered a vast prairie. Luo Feng. The electronic voice resounded throughout the prairie. The B-grade exam is to kill 100 low-level commander-level raging bulls that are surrounding you within 30 minutes. If you die during this time, you fail. If you don't kill 100 raging bulls after 30 minutes, you fail. This is your first time entering the Tower of Trials, so you have 5 minutes to prepare. Luo Feng's face changed greatly. 100 raging bulls and they're all low-level commander level? Luo Feng was completely shocked. Even though the monster hordes he usually meets are scary, most of them are soldier-level monsters. Commander-level monsters are extremely rare. However, he didn't think that he would be surrounded by 100 raging bulls in this B-grade exam, and they're all low-level commander-level monsters. Since they're all low-level commander-level monsters, then any raging bull's strength and speed are on par with his. 100 raging bulls that are on par with Luo Feng ganging up on Luo Feng. And Luo Feng has to kill all 100 of them by himself in 30 minutes? Sick. The first floor is already this sick. No wonder a few dozen of the 182 official members of the elite training camp are still on the first floor. Luo Feng could completely imagine how sick the 2nd, 3rd and 4th floors are. And Hong is using the exact same body as him, yet he was able to make it to the 6th floor. This is already unbelievable. Not bad, my body in the real world is pretty close to this virtual body's fitness level. I'm pretty used to it. Luo Feng moved around a bit and swiftly dodged, moved horizontally, and swung his ghost blade to get used to this body. 5 minutes passed quickly. B-grade exam begin. The electronic voice was like thunder as it resounded throughout the entire prairie world. At the same time, a strong bull-type monster that was around 3 meters tall appeared 100 meters ahead of him. Among the bull-type monsters, they're famous for living in groups. Raging bulls. It had long fur, a pair of curved and sharp horns and a pair of red eyes. Who? An entire 100 raging bulls. Each of their horns carried a faint red color, as if they were stained with blood. When their sharp horns pierced Luo Feng's body, even if they couldn't pierce through his battle uniform, Luo Feng's bones would probably break and his organs would bleed. Every single one of them was a threat. Hoo-hoo. Following the roars of the bulls that resounded throughout the prairie rumble, 100 low-level commander-level raging bulls charged towards Luo Feng with their red eyes and white gas coming out of their nostrils. The ground of the prairie slightly trembled. Other than that time at the Carrefour supermarket, I've never faced so many low-level commander-level monsters at once. Luo Feng wasn't confident either. No wonder this B-grade exam is used to test the best geniuses on Earth. As expected, it's ridiculously difficult. If he had spiritual force, he would still be confident. But if he doesn't? I can only risk it. There are a few dozen people in the elite training camp that are still on the first floor, which means that over 100 people have passed the first floor. I don't believe that I can't pass it. Luo Feng clenched his teeth. He's already in this situation, what else can he do? Risk it. 100 raging bulls that were bigger than tanks charged forward. Rumble, the earth shook. The 100-meter distance between the two sides was crossed in the blink of an eye by the low-level commander-level raging bulls. Like a tsunami, the endless raging bulls instantly drowned Luo Feng. Luo Feng didn't move as he faced the charging raging bulls. He held his hexagonal shield in one hand and his ghost blade in the other as he calmly stood in place. Rumble, the smell of the raging bull's breath permeated over. The first raging bull at the very front of the herd finally charged in front of Luo Feng. Luo Feng, who's been through who knows how many beast hordes, is extremely experienced. With just a nimble sidestep, the ghost blade flashed. 9-stage thunder blade, second stage. 2.1x strength burst forth. Blood sprayed out from the neck of the first raging bull. 1. Luo Feng's gaze was cold and extremely calm. He was very clear that in front of a monster horde, especially when every single one of them is a threat to him, he definitely can't panic. Raging bulls are quite large, much larger than a regular iron fur boar. Like a tank. Because of their large bodies, only a few of them can attack me at the same time. Luo Feng was clear that he had to use the bodies of these raging bulls to block the attacks. He had to find an opening to maneuver around. Time passed by minute by minute. Luo Feng's technique was definitely at the Ru Wei level, so his dodging within the raging bulls was extremely exquisite. Luckily, Luo Feng had plenty of experience fighting against monster hordes. If he didn't have any experience, then it would be really troublesome for him to fight against 100 low-level commander-level monsters. Other than that, Luo Feng's 9-stage Thunderblade was trained to the 3rd stage, which gave him the ability to kill a Raging Bull in one hit. 313233. Raging Bulls were either leaping or charging. Luo Feng was like a leaf as he dodged the blades with great difficulty. Not good. A sharp horn grazed Luo Feng's face. At the same time, a Raging Bull's corpse behind Luo Feng was rammed by a Raging Bull that was still alive, which affected Luo Feng's space to retreat. Just this small error caused the Raging Bulls to instantly surround Luo Feng from all directions. He was in a situation where he would definitely die. Peng. In an instant, Luo Feng was like a Raging Bull. His left arm was equipped with a hexagonal shield as he forcefully rammed into a Raging Bull that was charging towards him from the left. Rumble, the strong impact caused Luo Feng's left arm to go completely numb, his body couldn't help but be pushed backwards. Pooh! The strong impact caused him to spit out a mouthful of fresh blood. At the same time he retreated, Luo Feng's footwork strangely changed the distance between his steps. At the same time a cold blade light flashed. The saber slashed across the hoof of a wild bull that was pouncing towards him like a bolt of lightning. The moment the hoof fell, Luo Feng charged forward like lightning. As he charged forward, he used the back of his ghost blade to hit the hoof. The hoof of the bull was like a cannonball as it smashed towards the Raging Bull behind Luo Feng. It was a dazzling and desperate struggle. Keep in mind that each Raging Bull's speed exceeded 100 meters per second. Within a 10-meter radius, Luo Feng injured 3 Raging Bulls and killed 5 in a short 0.8 seconds. He was seriously injured and vomited blood, but he had still survived the dangerous situation just now. Although my saber art's most powerful strike is very powerful, it's still very powerful. When facing a group attack, I can't unleash multiple strikes at the same time. In the past, Luo Feng always chased after the most powerful strike. However, the stronger the strike, the longer it takes for him to pull it back. If Luo Feng could unleash 10 strikes in the blink of an eye and kill 10 Raging Bulls around him. If his blade speed was this fast, then he wouldn't even need to rely on his Ruwei level technique to dodge. He could just go on a killing spree. However, when facing Raging Bulls with speeds over 100 meters per second, killing 10 Raging Bulls in the blink of an eye requires too much control over his blade strength. Luo Feng didn't dare to relax at all and repeat the same mistake as before. Actually, ever since he escaped from number 003 City's Carrefour supermarket in 1.2 seconds, Luo Feng has experienced the perfect level technique multiple times. He can make the most effective use of any object in his surroundings. He and the environment have become one. Just like this. Since every Raging Bull was a low-level commander, this unprecedented pressure made Luo Feng feel like he was one with the environment when he killed 70 Raging Bulls. At this moment, the surrounding Raging Bull corpses and even the surrounding grass gave Luo Feng an incomparably familiar feeling. He didn't need to use his brain to think and instinctively use every Raging Bull's corpse or even its parts. Incomparably easy. Bio. As a bull's head flew up, fresh blood spurted out. Use 21 minutes and 18 seconds to kill all 100 Raging Bulls. Be great, exam passed. Congratulations, student Luo Feng. A godlike electronic voice echoed in the sky above the entire grass plain. Only now did Luo Feng wake up from that feeling. He didn't know whether to laugh or cry. How come it's gone at the crucial moment? Give me more Raging Bulls. Luo Feng has learned the 9-stage Thunderblade, and the 9-stage Thunderblade has a technique flowing light, so he knows very well that when training his technique. How hard is it to go from the Ruwei level to the perfect level? Many times before, Luo Feng used his spiritual force to sense his surroundings. Only then did he occasionally feel the perfect level technique. And this time, because he was in the virtual space, he didn't have any spiritual force. Unlike the monster hordes in the real world, most of them are soldier-level monsters. Every single one of these monster hordes in the virtual space is a threat to him. So Luo Feng squeezed himself to the limit. He unknowingly stepped into the perfect level. The longer he maintains that state, the easier it will be for him to truly step into the perfect level. Sadly, Luo Feng only maintained that state for a short while. Killing the last 30 Raging Bulls didn't take more than 5 minutes. The exam ended and Luo Feng came out from that state. Student Luo Feng, you will automatically leave the virtual space in 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Elite Training Camp, 9th floor of the 9 grand floors. When Yang Hui and Luo Feng laughed as they walked out of the training room, the geniuses of all skin colors from all over the world looked over with shock in the spacious lobby of the 9th floor. A yellow-skinned youth even asked, "Teacher, did he pass the exam?" "He passed," laughed Yang Hui. "I'll take him to do the procedures. It's almost 1 p.m. You guys can begin the exam now." Suddenly, the 10 or so people in the spacious lobby either chatted with Luo Feng or discussed with each other. After leaving the 9 grand floors, the originally cloudy sky started raining heavily. Luo Feng and Yang Hui walked out with umbrellas. Even though there are only 180 students here, there are the 5 great countries of the world secretly involved. There are also the families of the HR Alliance, etc. "The water here is very deep," said Yang Hui seriously. "Luo Feng, you'll become a member of the elite training camp. As long as you don't get eliminated, your future will be bright. In the training camp, the government, army, special organizations and families of the HR Alliance will try to rope you in. Maybe you'll be tempted by money, women, and power. However, you have to remember the most important thing is your strength. Don't mind those temptations too much. Right now your goal is to charge towards a higher ranking in the training camp. Including you, there are a total of 183 students. All of them are geniuses. What you have to do is to trample others underfoot and stand higher yourself. Yang Hui said solemnly. Luo Feng nodded. What code name are you going to choose? Said Yang Hui. Today is March 29th, so you officially joined the training camp on April 1st, 2057. So, the first 4 numbers of your code name must be 5704. As for the last 2 numbers, since you're the only one joining in April, you can choose any 2 numbers you want. Luo Feng suddenly understood. No wonder every person's name on the huge black dragon carving had a code name behind it. Last time he saw the number 1, NO. 1 Renatus and Bridge, 530321. Looks like this person entered the training camp on March 3, 2053. Up until now, he's been in the training camp for a full 4 years. What do you choose for the last 2 numbers? Asked Yang Hui. 03 answered Luo Feng. A series of troubles arose from stealing a dragon egg in number 003 city, and a portion of the elixir of life cost 30 billion. Luo Feng and the number 3 are fated. 03. Yang Hui nodded. Your student code name is 570403. The other procedures will be done soon. On the Black Dragon ranking list of the world's number 1 training camp, the 183rd name appeared on that day, NO. 183 Luo Feng 570403. This news almost instantly spread to the 5 great countries and all the headquarters cities. A few special departments of the government, the 9 core families of the HR Alliance, and dozens of important families all received this news. And on that day, every single organization received a detailed report on Luo Feng. From when Luo Feng was born and lived in a cheap rental housing sector. His family etc. were all recorded. Huaxia, Kyoto-based city in a building built underground. 3rd floor underground. In an elegantly decorated office, a skinny man wearing a loose dojo uniform lightly tapped the table with one hand and flipped through Luo Feng's information with the other. Send an order to the Jiangnan headquarters city division. Send people to watch Luo Feng's family 24 hours a day. 1. Make sure Luo Feng's family never leaves Jiangnan headquarters city. 2. Make sure Luo Feng's family is safe. We definitely can't allow what happened last time to happen again. The skinny man had a mole on his chin and his gaze was cold. Yes. The various countries' armies, special organizations, financial groups, etc., all had their own plans to deal with Luo Feng, who just entered the elite training camp. At the same time as the HR Alliance's Huaxia region CEO, Vanina Polinus, naturally received this information almost immediately. Jiangnan Shanshui District Huayao Peak Villa. Vanina, isn't this Luo Feng one of our many suspects? As soon as he flipped through the first page, Vulture Liao immediately thought of the unremarkable Luo Feng among the many suspects. Yes, when Wei died he was closer to Wei. Vanina shook her head and said, but he's only 19 years old this year and he's only a beginner warlord. The family is still trying to figure out a way to get this Luo Feng to work for our Polinus family. How did he get into the elite training camp? Is it because he's a spirit reader? A cold light flashed in Liao's eyes. No, you'll know after you read it. Vanina shook her head. Yao, I think you're being paranoid when it comes to finding the murderer. You suspect everyone. P.S. 2 chapters completed. The spring rain continued to fall without end. Papa. The rain hit the umbrella and water droplets splashed everywhere. Luo Feng held the umbrella and followed beside Yang Hui. After crossing a wooden arch bridge, they arrived at a group of buildings. Yang Hui pointed not too far away. Luo Feng, that garden over there is Jiangnan Pagoda. There are already 2 students living in Jiangnan Pagoda. You are the 3rd student living there. Jiangnan Pagoda? Luo Feng's heart skipped a beat and couldn't help but to ask, Teacher, why does it have the same name as Jiangnan headquarters city? Since he had become an official member of the training camp, and Yang Hui was also a teacher of the training camp, he had no choice but to accept it. Naturally, Luo Feng called Yang Hui teacher. Haha, it's based on the base city's name. There are 2 students living in the Jiangnan pavilion. Both of them are from the Jiangnan base city, but they arrived earlier than you. Yang Hui's face was mysterious. He suddenly lowered his voice and said, let me remind you, one of the 2 students living in Jiangnan Pagoda is called Shi Jiang. He's very powerful. Even I don't have the confidence to defeat him. It will be good for you if you have a good relationship with him. Teacher, you don't even have the confidence to beat him? Luo Feng was shocked. Yang Hui is an intermediate-level Wargod. Yes. Yang Hui nodded. This Shi Jiang is one of the top 5 students in the training camp. Many of the students in the elite training camp already had the strength of a Wargod, but they refused to try and obtain the title of Wargod. This way they can continue to stay in the training camp. In fact, almost all of the top 30 students in the training camp have the strength of a Wargod. Luo Feng blinked. Almost everyone in the top 30 has Wargod strength? This was too exaggerated. All of them were pretending to be pigs to eat tigers. They could have graduated, but they insisted on staying in the training camp for 5 years. The top 5 are all freaks. Yang Hui said in a low voice, elites from all over the world, especially those ranked in the top 5, compete fiercely. To be able to maintain his position in the top 5 for so long, this Shi Jiang, once he graduates no matter where he goes, he'll definitely receive the best treatment. If he was in my dojo of limits, for example, the chairman position in Jiangnan headquarters city, he could easily get it, said Yang Hui. Luo Feng was stunned. Jiangnan headquarters city's dojo of limits president? This is Jiangnan headquarters city, the head of the dojo of limits. Wait for him to endure for a few more years before his strength breaks through. It's not impossible for him to become the supervisor of the dojo of limits. Yang Hui sighed emotionally. Perhaps his current strength was on par with Shi Jiang's, but he was already in his 50s, while Shi Jiang was only in his 20s. He was the one with a bright future ahead of him. In his shock, Luo Feng arrived at Jiangnan Pagoda. The courtyard of Jiangnan Pagoda was dozens of meters in circumference, with white walls and black tiles. There were even carvings of dragons on the walls. He pushed open the courtyard door. There were a total of 3 buildings in Jiangnan Pagoda. When Luo Feng and Yang Hui walked into the courtyard, the building was very quiet. Yang Hui directly yelled, "Shi Jiang Zhao Rua." Suddenly, a short-haired girl in a loose nightgown stood on the balcony of the second floor of a pavilion on the left. A figure jumped down from the pavilion directly in front of her. It was a young man in black training clothes holding an umbrella. Luo Feng carefully observed this youth who was praised by Yang Hui. This youth was slightly shorter than Luo Feng by a bit, around 1.7 meters. Even though his entire body was skinny, he gave off a strong feeling. It was as if his entire body was made of steel. His eyes were reserved, but the occasional glint in them was frightening. He Shi Jiang, Luo Feng silently remembered. A new student? An excited voice jumped down from upstairs. Zhao Rua held her umbrella and looked at Luo Feng excitedly. Luo Feng also observed this senior sister. This senior sister named Zhao Rua had short hair and a petite body. The only flaws were her dark skin and small eyes. That was why Zhao Rua was not considered a beauty. His name is Luo Feng. From today onwards, he'll be staying with you guys in Jiangnan Pagoda. Yang Hui laughed. Shi Jiang Zhao Rua, you guys are seniors. Luo Feng just arrived, so you guys have to take care of him. Don't worry, leave it to me. Zhao Rua patted her chest. With this senior sister here, I won't let him suffer. Okay, then I'll leave first. Yang Hui smiled and patted Luo Feng's shoulder before leaving. Jiangnan Pagoda had a total of 3 buildings. The one in the center was Shi Jiang's residence, and the one on the left, which was the west, was Zhao Rua's residence. Naturally, Luo Feng lived in the east building. Luo Feng sit Zhao Rua was extremely passionate. Right now, Luo Feng and Shi Jiang were all in the living room of Zhao Rua's residence. I came here in year 55. Senior Shi Jiang came in year 53. Both of them came way earlier than you, laughed Zhao Rua. Zhao Rua said with a smile. Shi Jiang also smiled. 53, 55, 57. The 3 of us happen to be separated by 2 years, and we're all from Jiangnan headquarters city. This is also a rare fate. When Shi Jiang opened his mouth, Luo Feng felt that Shi Jiang's voice was heavy and calm. I'm from Jiangnan headquarters city, Su City. Senior Shi Jiang is from the main city sector. Luo Feng, what about you? Asked Zhao Rua. Yangzhou City, said Luo Feng. Shi Jiang laughed in surprise. My grandpa is in Yangzhou City. These 3 also came from Jiangnan headquarters city. However, Shi Jiang and Zhao Rua, one passed the basics training camp, and then competed to enter the elite training camp. The other was originally an elite of the government army and then was sent here. Only Luo Feng was directly picked from the regular fighters. Luo Feng, when you return to your room in a bit, open the laptop that the training camp gave you. Shi Jiang reminded, there's an ebook, student notice, in this laptop. Read it carefully. Yes, that thing is very important, Zhao Ruoyan said. Especially the points. Zhao Ruoyan reminded, in the training camp, the points ranking is the most important. You should have seen the Black Dragon ranking at the door, right? I saw. Luo Feng nodded. There was only one Chinese name in the top 3. The Black Dragon ranking is the point ranking. The higher the score, the higher the ranking. The 1st to 28th of every month was the time to earn points. On the 29th of every month, the final ranking of the month would be calculated. By the next month, everyone's points would be cleared and returned to 0. We need to work hard to earn more points and fight for a higher ranking, Zhao Rua explained. Luo Feng realized. It turned out that there would be a round of ranking every month. Senior, where did these points come from? Asked Luo Feng. Points are battle points multiplied by battle ability amplifier, explained Zhao Rua. For example, you'll be fighting for a higher ranking in April. If you have 2,000 battle points from April 1st to 28th, and your battle ability amplifier is 1.8, then your points would be 2,000 times 1.8, which is 3,600 points. You'll be ranked according to your points. Luo Feng was even more confused after hearing this. What were these battle points and battle ability amplitudes? Battle points are obtained by hunting monsters. As for the details, you'll know when you go back and read the ebook, Student Notice, explained Zhao Rua. As for the battle ability amplifier, it's determined in the virtual space. As for the details, you'll know when you go back and read the Student Notice. Luo Feng blinked helplessly. He has to read the Student Notice himself. Luo Feng. Shi Jiang finally spoke. Senior Luo Feng looked toward Shi Jiang. Remember, if you want to increase your strength quickly in the training camp, you have to work hard to increase your ranking every month. The higher the ranking, the better, Shi Jiang said solemnly. This ranking is also related to the various resources that can be obtained. Some resources are something even Wargods desire. This is why many students who have reached the Wargod level still stay here. Zhao Rua pouted on the side. For example, our senior Shi Jiang. Shi Jiang was speechless. Zhao Rua covered her mouth and laughed. Luo Feng also laughed. Jiangnan Pagoda LuoFeng study. The laptop was just turned on and Luo Feng was sitting on a chair, carefully reading the student notice. Training rooms? Challenge rooms? Gravity rooms? These 3 training rooms were all built from the remains of the ancient civilization. As he read, Luo Feng learned more and more about the training camp. There were indeed many pieces of equipment in the training camp, but of course the most valuable ones were the archaeological ruins. And the most important thing in the training camp is ranking. Ranking affects a lot of things. For example, the ancient gravity room in the ancient civilization ruins. Although there were replicas of the gravity room on Earth, the effect on martial artists was far from that ancient equipment. However, there's only one training room in the entire training camp. Who's going to use it? That depends on the ranking. The higher the ranking, the more time you get. And that's just one of the reasons. If you are ranked first every month for 9 consecutive times, you will be able to obtain a portion of dragon blood worth 80 billion. You will also be able to choose any 3 complete manuals for free. You will also be able to choose Hong or Thunder God as your teacher and become their direct disciple. If you are ranked first every month for 6 consecutive times, you will receive a drop of chalcedony worth 30 billion. You will also be able to choose any complete set of manuals for free, and you will also receive a chance to receive personal guidance from Hong or Thunder God. Luo Feng was speechless as he read the description on the electronic book. Dragon blood? Become Hong's or Thunder God's direct disciple. And it's a choice. The disciple chooses the teacher? Any 3 complete instruction manuals? Keep in mind that the price of an ultimate instruction manual is terrifying. Insane. But these rewards are all for first place, and you have to get first 9 times. Luo Feng continued reading. Fist strength level 6, receive 1 portion of dragon blood worth 80 billion, SS grade battle uniform, and a full set of weapons. Fist strength level 5, receive. Luo Feng was a bit stunned as he looked at the long list of rewards. Tower of Trials level 5, receive the position of investigator in the dojo of limits, receive 1 portion of dragon blood worth 80 billion, SS grade battle uniform, a full set of weapons, any 3 complete instruction manuals, and a set of Black God from the archaeological ruins. The Tower of Trials level rewards are clearly the highest. Patrol Inspector. Logically speaking, that's a position that can only be obtained by an existence surpassing the Wargod level. And a set of Black God from the archaeological ruins? What the hell? As long as I reach the Tower of Trials level 5 I can get anything I want? I don't need anything? LuoFeng's heart couldn't help but to speed up. However, when he thought about the B-grade exam in the Tower of Trials, he felt a huge amount of pressure. He was only on the first floor and he already met 100 low-level commander-level raging bulls. And this probably isn't even the hardest part of the first floor. There's still the 2nd, 3rd and 4th floors. Even the experienced Wargod Yang Hui only made it to the 3rd floor. The world's strongest fighter Hong only made it to the 6th floor. The difficulty of making it to the 5th floor is obvious. No wonder the benefits offered were so frightening. Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe and turn on the notifications so you won't miss any of our upcoming great videos.